sure see the stories, and we're still with Mutiara Maharini, aka Mahari, here in the studio, who is a clinical psychologist, and we're still talking about a specific topic, overcoming divorce depression, and this time want to focus a little bit on co-parenting, right? Now, this is in itself difficult, having to co-parent with the parents. Okay. In terms of, you mentioned this a little bit, that it might be good if you still have an okay relationship whatsoever, to be able to see, get an objective perspective by doing, like couples counseling. Yeah, couples therapy counseling. How would you say this would be effective in terms of getting ready for co-parenting?
I would say it would be very, very helpful because, again, when you're doing co-parenting, nobody has taught you this before, right? It's like parenting, there's lots of books and you've seen how your parents has done it. But co-parenting, it's a whole new game. And the thing is, co-parenting is a lot harder to generalize because every marriage has its own reason to why it ended. And that definitely affects how the co-parenting will be. But what I can say about co-parenting is that you have to make sure that the number one person you are thinking about are your children. Because often co-parenting, again, it just becomes marriage 2.0.
Yep.
The same problems, the same issues. And basically it's the child who has to kind of help the parents, which is very, very not good.
Yes.
So number one, prioritize your children's needs. I would say that if it isn't workable, if the relationship and the communication isn't that workable with your ex, it would be better to just do parallel parenting, so you don't have to meet the other, your ex-spouse, but just make arrangements so that both of you get to meet the kid, and it's fine like that. Because you can't always, want to say that, oh yeah, we have to be okay, we have to be able to do this, because not all relationships are capable of that.
You know what? This is the first time I hear parallel parenting.
Parallel parenting.
And I think this is a language that should be more common, because everyone thinks that when you have a child and you're divorced, you're automatically co-parenting.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, not every ex-spouse couples have that particular level of communication, or are okay in that way.
Yep.
But can I have a little bit of a follow-up question?
Go.
Because you just mentioned the child helping the parents.
Yes.
And I think this is really, really important, because from personal experience, I had to watch a child having to be the mother's emotional anchor, and that's not okay. So as the adult, with the best interest of the child in mind, how would you, as a therapist, tell your patient what is the boundary? Where is the boundary of what can you tell your child, or how can you communicate about this with your child? Because there must be one, right?
There is,
Yeah.
definitely. I would say that the number one thing is actually to see the kid's age, this child's age, because a different age is a different emotional maturity. And that is basically just saying, like, from the norms, right? But actually that this child experienced a divorce at maybe such a young age, that's another factor. So we probably need to do an assessment first for the child, or through the mother, and see, is this child really ready, to hear all about this? Or you can kind of, tell her little bit by little bit. But don't make that child your therapist, because that often happens. And then the child kind of has to follow the mother or the father, and it's just
what is the red line? Because there are, when a relationship ends badly, right, there is a risk factor of course, banters that happens, right? So as the adult, you have the power, or supposed to have the emotional maturity to think about your child. What is the biggest taboo of not to do in front of your child if you are, I don't know, having like a resentment or whatever towards your ex-spouse? Because there is a hard line. And I think this is really important, because I see that there are a lot of mistakes where the child is the person that has to, undergo this the most.
This is a very ideal situation, but I think this is how it should be. If you are interested in co-parenting, not single parenting, you should actually never say bad things about your ex-spouse. Because if you want to do co-parenting, that means you want, the ex-spouse to be there and for the child to respect them, right?
Yeah.
But once you're saying all of these bad things, you're already making the co-parenting not effective. So that's the number one thing that I think we should be very aware of once we're talking to our children, and if we're feeling emotional, I would say just stop it. Because it's really not their business. It's not, they can't solve it. And they're just there being an emotional sponge and, taking up everything when they really should be enjoying their lives. They didn't ask for this, right?
Very true.
So no bad things about
Get the
ex-spouse.
emotions out, right? Just to make sure the kid
find
has
your
the
own
respect
therapist.
for both, right?
Your
Find
child
your
is
own
not your
therapist.
therapist.
Yeah.
Right. Get the kid to have
Whatever
respect
the
on
age
both sides.
I really
I
do
guess
think
so.
I really do believe that it doesn't matter if the child's already an adult or a preteen. It's your business, right?
It is your responsibility.
It's your responsibility. Right. Oh,
We
you know,
We're so immersed in the
I know.
discussion, right?
I don't know because it's so important because once the child is involved, this is the next generation life. I mean, this is make it or break it
Yes.
for not us, but another person. There's a little person who needs, who's going to live with his or her life. And I think it's really important as adults. We're the responsible ones, right? We're supposed to be responsible ones. So before we end our discussion, of course, we're going to do something fun. Let's invite Rory in. He's been off camera for way too long.
Co-parenting, this is the new concept that I just heard. And you know what? The trauma is not only bared by those who are married, right? Because it's relevant to me, although I'm not married yet. But I'm a kid of parents who got divorced. So it's relevant to me, right? To bear the trauma. And it's actually fun, to accept the situation and condition. And this is a bit of Churchill. I'm the one who encouraged my parents to get divorced because it's not healthy at all. Anyway, let's play a game. It's between myth and facts for you guys.
All right.
So
you get
just
this.
to make sure that you listen to
Myth or fact.
Mutiara explanation.
Okay.
So this is the game that you have to choose with it, whether it's fact or myth. And we've got 5 questions already. So let's start with the first challenge, the first question, shall we?
All right.
Okay.
Gonna go behind us right here.
All right, guys. So
Okay.
is it myth or fact? Divorce means personal failure.
It's not a failure if you can get a better life.
Right.
Oh.
So
Right.
Mutiara, would you agree if it's myth?
Yes, of course.
It's a myth.
myth.
Of course, it's
Right.
a myth.
So divorce is not a failure. Why is that?
No, because divorce, there's a lot of factors that actually cause a marriage to end, right? It's not always like somebody's fault and then, the other one is a victim. There's a lot of factors there, and basically, incompatibility isn't a failure.
Yep.
It's actually a good thing that you figured it out, right? And you didn't like hold on to it until the end of your life.
Right.
And I would say that when you get married, you think that that's the right person. You
Right.
think that it's the right decision. With all of the knowledge that you have, you already done your best.
Yeah.
So in the end, if it didn't work out, it's not your fault. You tried your best, and now it's just another lesson learned for you to go on with your life.
I hope everybody thinks the same way as you. But women usually bear the burden, right, for being divorced. So they are blamed by the society.
There is
for
quite
it,
some
right?
stigma.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's so sad, right?
Or
All
the
right.
woman loves to blame the other guy for
Yeah.
the divorce. Victimization is just as much.
Yeah. Let's go now to the second
The second one?
statement.
Okay.
Right. So is it myth or fact? Children of divorced parents are
Oh,
prone
this
to
is
have problems.
Did you have problems?
No, I didn't. I think it depends on the age where the
That
parents
what,
Yeah.
that's what she said,
So,
right?
okay, is it myth or fact?
I want to go with this.
But they do.
But then again, you're right.
They
It
do
depends
have
on the
problems.
Age, right?
No, but they do have some problems.
But
I don't
they
know.
definitely have. It's
But what if in this
Because the
scenario,
wording is prone.
the kids are the ones who encourage the divorce?
That's you.
there you go. See, you can't have that on this.
But
Right.
but the language is prone.
Prone.
So-
Is that right?
Yeah.
So fact.
Vulnerable.
I'll go. Yeah,
Prone.
I'll go with this for now.
Fact.
Okay.
Right.
Because of the word prone.
Right.
Okay. Because of the word prone, it is a fact because
Okay.
there has been a lot of research done, and kids who have divorced parents are a lot more susceptible to having anger issues
Yep.
and actually quite some other issues. But again, with healthy co-parenting, healthy communication, especially nowadays, divorce isn't. It's quite normal actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can learn, and kids from divorced parents can have a very healthy and successful life. So don't get discouraged, okay? This is only prone.
I mean, look at
Right.
Rory Ashari.
Look at him.
He turned out okay.
You turned out okay.
Because divorce is not, it's not something bad, right? If the relationship doesn't work, then why you
Doesn't
have
work.
to?
Yeah, a lot of people are happier after you get a divorce,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Right. especially my mom, actually. Let's go to this, the third statement. Right? Is it myth or fact? Talking about divorce makes it worse. It's a myth.
It's a myth. It is.
Is it?
It is.
Is it a myth?
You guys are good. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But it depends on who you talk to. If you talk to your child, it's going to make it worse. I'm just saying.
That's why we don't talk to the child.
If you don't
right?
want to talk
We
to
don't
the child, no,
yes.
please don't.
Why
I think
is
it's okay to talk about the divorce, but know your limitations, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is what definitely makes it worse is suppressing your emotions and not communicating at all with your ex-spouse, with your children, with their family. That's definitely going to make it worse. So be communicative, but be careful, don't overshare.
Don't.
Don't
overshare.
overshare.
There you
I
go.
like
End of
that.
the day, that's your personal matter, right?
Yeah.
All right. So fourth statement, shall we? Let's bring it.
Oh, that's the last
okay,
one.
that's
Oh, wow.
I think
so
we
both
did
of you
okay.
answered it correctly.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're good,
Yeah.
right?
So, Mahari, thank you so much for coming. I just have one last, question. Perhaps
Yes.
you have a message for anybody watching. How can one make sure that they are able to move on, even with, having gone through a divorce, or I don't want to say it's a traumatic event, but having gone through, having that baggage to carry. How does one be able to move on?
Okay. I would say that the number one thing you should do is actually find your reason why you want to get this divorce. Sometimes, actually, most of the times it's for your children, for the future of them,
Yes.
so that they can have a good life and everything.
Yeah.
You can, kind of remember that to motivate yourself so that you are strong, but make sure you don't overcompensate there and make, your children the whole center of your universe. And what I would say is, after finding your number one motivation, the second thing is to challenge yourself every day, because that is how you will find your new sense of self, your new sense of confidence, and how you will move on in life. Be resilient.
Be resilient.
Brilliant.
And it's okay not to be okay, and then you go to therapy.
Yeah. I mean, there is that winter phase that one has to go
Yes.
through, and that's completely normal, and there is help. And
There will be summer again.
There will be summer again. I like that. So winter does not last forever. No. Now, the See the Stories will continue after the break. Stay tuned with us on the 3-Hour News Show only on See Today.
Thank you.